You ever met someone who always has to be right? Someone who craves admiration, struggles to accept criticism, and somehow manages to make every conversation about themselves? Maybe you've even wondered, is this person a narcissist? The word narcissist gets thrown around constantly on social media. Your difficult boss is a narcissist. Your ex is a narcissist. Your parents are narcissists. But in psychology, narcissism is much more complex than simply being selfish or arrogant. Today, we're going to separate myth from reality and explore what narcissism really is, what causes it, and how to recognize the signs without overusing a label that doesn't always fit. I'm Peter, a licensed clinical therapist, and welcome to the Galenus perspective. Section 1. What is narcissism? Every human being has some degree of narcissism. That might sound surprising, but healthy narcissism isn't a bad thing. Healthy narcissism gives us confidence, ambition, self-respect, and the ability to take pride in our accomplishments. Without it, we'd struggle to advocate for ourselves or pursue meaningful goals. The problem begins when self-confidence becomes an unhealthy need for admiration, control, and superiority. This exists on a spectrum. On one end is healthy self-esteem. In the middle are narcissistic personality traits that many people occasionally display. And at the far end is Narcissistic Personality Disorder, or NPD, a diagnosable mental health condition that significantly affects relationships, work, and emotional functioning. Not everyone with narcissistic traits has narcissistic personality disorder. In fact, most don't. Section 2, the core of narcissism. Ironically, beneath the grandiosity often lies something very fragile. Many psychologists describe narcissism as a defense against deep feelings of shame, inadequacy, or insecurity. Imagine building a beautiful castle, but underneath the foundation is cracked. Instead of repairing the foundation, you keep adding decorations to convince everyone, including yourself, that everything is perfect. That is often how narcissism works. The confidence you see may actually be protecting someone from emotional pain they never learned how to face. Section 3, common signs. Let's look at some common characteristics. First, there's an excessive need for admiration. Compliments don't just feel nice, they become necessary. Second, an exaggerated sense of importance. Rules often seem to apply to everyone else. Third, difficulty accepting criticism. Even gentle feedback can feel like a personal attack. Fourth, a lack of empathy. And finally, we come to manipulation. This doesn't always mean the person has no empathy. Rather, their own emotional needs often overshadow the feelings of others. This can include guilt, blame shifting, gaslighting, or playing the victim to maintain control. It's important to remember that these behaviors exist on a continuum. One difficult interaction doesn't make someone a narcissist. And remember, patterns over time really do matter. Section 4, grandiose versus vulnerable narcissism. When most people imagine narcissism, they picture someone loud, boastful, and constantly seeking attention. This is called grandiose narcissism. These individuals often appear confident, charismatic, and dominant. But psychology also recognizes vulnerable narcissism. These individuals may seem shy, anxious, or emotionally sensitive, yet beneath the surface, they may still believe they're uniquely misunderstood, become deeply wounded by criticism, and expect special treatment. One seeks admiration loudly, the other seeks it quietly. Different presentation, similar emotional needs. Section 5, what causes narcissism? There isn't one simple answer. Research suggests it's usually a combination of genetics, temperament, childhood experiences, and environment. Some children grow up receiving constant praise without realistic boundaries. Others experience severe criticism, neglect, emotional abuse, or inconsistent parenting. In both situations, a child may develop a false self, a carefully constructed identity designed to earn love, avoid rejection, or protect against shame. This doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it helps explain where it may come from. Understanding is not the same as enabling. Section 6, why relationships become difficult. Relationships with highly narcissistic individuals often follow a predictable cycle. At first, everything feels amazing. You may feel deeply understood, admired, or idealized. But over time, criticism begins. Your needs become less important. Disagreements turn into arguments where you're blamed for everything. Eventually, many people begin questioning their own reality. This is why relationships involving significant narcissistic traits can become emotionally exhausting. Healthy relationships require empathy, accountability, vulnerability, and mutual respect. Narcissism often interferes with all four. Section 7, can narcissists change? This is one of the most common questions therapists hear. The answer is yes, but it's difficult. Real change requires something narcissism naturally resists: self-awareness. A person must become willing to examine uncomfortable truths, tolerate criticism, accept responsibility, and develop genuine empathy. And of course, professional psychotherapy can help. But lasting change usually happens only when the individual genuinely wants it, not because someone else demands it. Section 8. Protecting yourself. If someone in your life consistently displays narcissistic behaviors, your goal shouldn't be diagnosing them. Your goal should be protecting your own mental health. Set healthy boundaries. Avoid getting pulled into endless arguments. Don't expect validation from someone who consistently dismisses your feelings. And remember, you cannot change another person's personality. You can only choose how you respond. Sometimes the healthiest decision is creating emotional distance. Sometimes it's learning healthier communication. And in some situations, especially involving abuse, it may mean leaving the relationship altogether. Final section, closing thoughts. Narcissism isn't simply arrogance. It's often a complicated psychological defense hiding deep emotional wounds. That doesn't make harmful behavior acceptable, but understanding the psychology behind it allows us to respond with wisdom rather than confusion. The goal isn't to label everyone around us. The goal is to recognize unhealthy patterns, protect our emotional well-being, and build relationships based on empathy, respect, and authenticity. If you found this video helpful, leave a comment below. Have you noticed how often the word narcissist is used today? Do you think we overuse the label, or has it helped people better understand unhealthy relationships? If you enjoyed this Psychology Explained episode, subscribe to the Galenus Perspective, where we explore psychology, emotional wellness, and personal growth through the lens of science, clinical experience, and thoughtful conversation. Until next time, take care of your mind, because understanding yourself is the first step toward healing.